Hello friends and welcome back to my shop. We're in the new one. Everything is set up. We're good to go. So let me show you around. Okay, so first a quick overview just to kind of give you a sense of scale. Basically door to my house, obviously. We have the table saw on wheels, which is just a big flat surface that I can use for shipping and whatnot. I put a light above it because that's something I always wanted downstairs, was just more room to just have stuff sitting and ready for shipping or cleaning or whatever. So that's what we did there. 3D printer, laser cutter right on the start of the wall here, corner, whatever. I have my desk with my computer by the light so I can absorb as much of it as I can. I have the CNC mill behind us. Then the lathe is very far back, or the big lathe is right by the door. Then the other lathe is right beside it. CNC router right here. Table saw right here. And then on this side, I have a bunch of trash because I have to put it together or find homes for it yet. But basically just area so I can park a car in here until I need the space, because having everything nice and cozy actually makes it a little easier. Let's not shoot into the sun. Having everything relatively close so I don't have to walk very far is really convenient because I don't have to keep moving about, and my parts are so small so it doesn't, yeah. Anyways, the tighter I can stack things, the less I have to move. Yeah, works out well for me. Let's get into the details of everything. So you'd think this would be the most like trivial thing in my garage, just where the power comes in. But this is literally the main reason I moved up here, is just so I can have power to run the big lathe. So what it is, I ran a sub panel for my main panel in here. This gives me 80 amps of service. And now here I've wired it all out for 220 and 120. Basically all the power I'm gonna need. I used very few spots. This is actually a main panel that I put in here to function as a sub, just so I'd have more spaces on it. Basically I shouldn't, if I'm running out of power, I'm gonna have to move to an industrial space because I have about as much power as I can pull from my house service without getting it upgraded. So yeah, it's super lame and boring sounding, but that's literally the main reason I moved up here, is just have access to that in an easy way. Of course I could put a sub panel into my little room downstairs, but that would make no sense because of the effort to put a sub panel, and you may as well put it someplace where you'll use it. Anyways, I don't need to ramble about electrical, but yeah, that was a driving factor for me. Second most important thing in here, big furnace. Does exactly what you think it does, pumps a bunch of heat in here. I need it for my climate, and I went with a furnace as opposed to just kind of like a roof hanging heater or a tube heater, because I could get a lot more even heat distribution. We could kind of choose where we wanted to pipe it. I could filter the air, and it was quiet. So when I shoot video, I don't have a giant blower going on and off all the time. And then a radiant heater would be good, but my ceilings just aren't quite high enough. I think I would be burning my head, and my lathe would get cold, and I basically want to maintain uniform temperature through here, because having 3,000 pounds of iron at different temperatures while I'm trying to cut precise parts, probably not ideal. So I figure if I could spread the heat out nicely, it's going to make for better everything and make for a happier me. So yeah, that's why I went with that. And this is probably my favorite little area where I'm going to be spending majority of my time. So I have my tag lathe sitting here, I have my mill sitting there, and I have the big lathe sitting right there. They're all kind of in a little cell, so I can stand in one location and access everything. I can be running parts on either machine and monitor them all basically without moving. My computer's far enough out of the way that it's not going to get any kind of stray chips on it. And the one CNC computer I'm currently using is on a rolling cart right now, so I can roll it wherever is convenient and just work from there. I'm probably going to end up running multiple computers just because one computer can't run 3 machines at once. But right now it only has to run basically the mill because I'm just doing manual ops on the lathe, but that's besides the point. Yes, I'm very happy with the way this is set up. I didn't exactly want to have the lathe against the big garage door just for cooling, heating issues. I would rather have it been closer to the middle, but it works the most convenient there. It gave me the most space, and it let the most light bounce around and made filming easy, and I like the way it looks. So that's where it's gonna live. I could always build a foam wall behind it if I find issues, but I don't think I will. I think it's gonna be just fine. And we put a heat dump right above it, so hopefully that helps too. My favorite feature, the thing I almost love the most in this whole place, is this. I got a space for my shop vehicle. I joke about that, but literally if orders are placed while it's nice out, I mean, typically I do like big drops, so orders kind of all come in a flood and there's nothing for a while. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, if you've ordered a pen from me, it started his journey on a skateboard, because the post office is super close. Kind of the reason we ended up buying this place too, because I do so much mailing. Having to drive to a post office sucks. So having one that's uber close is primo. So with the 5-cent tour out of the, it's just so bright. I might turn that down just a little bit. I actually have to get a diffuser for this window because while it is very nice, it's actually decently bright, especially when the sun is blazing in the window and I'm trying to work on the computer. It's funny. Now I have too much light. Anyways, I'm I have not been sitting on my hands for the last couple weeks. I mean, of course, moved everything in here. Wanted to shoot video, but I have a lot of work that's starting to pile up, so I had to start getting to it. Boxes, I'm very happy with the way they're turning out. Basically trying to get my laser cutter and my printer to play nice with each other, so I can just put the sheet in the laser cutter and have it align. And I could actually put a camera in my laser cutter so that when because I print these on my printer, I haven't found a company that I like yet that does boxes. There's ones out there, I'm certain. I just don't do enough of them yet to make it cost effective for me. Although if I count my hours of labor into these things, besides the point. So I print these and then I put them in the laser cutter. I could have a camera in the laser cutter that would actually orientate the part and then laser it out. So that's something I'm working on, but they're working out nicely. I'm just looking at different shipping options because I have some international customers that kind of end up getting hosed on shipping. And if I have a more robust packing box, I can change the box that I send it in to like a bubble mailer, and bubble mailers are actually a little more cost effective to send. I don't know. I'm just experimenting with ideas. That's one thing I've been working on. The other thing I've been working on is I've had a lot of requests basically for the flux pen with a clip. The reason I never ended up selling these ones initially with a clip is because clips complicate the machining and everything about this pen. And this was built to be a pretty cost-effective unit. But some people don't care. They just want to clip with their pen. I totally get it. I want one with my pen too. I want one of these, so I just started building one. So this is a part of the custom job I've been working on, but I also rolled it into a production variant so that I wouldn't have to basically just lose money doing custom work. It's very hard to make money making custom pens. So whenever I can, if I get a custom request in, I either try to roll it off of an existing design, or I try to use that time to basically refine a design, make it better. And that's what we're doing in this case. So basically what I had to do in this case, if we can get closer maybe you can see it better. Like I said, so this is super basic right now, your standard body, your standard cap, but the only difference is this cap pops off and clicks on, and it's like, it's on there. So I'm very happy with this. I actually spent way too much time with this cap weird spring system. Initially I wanted to use this is titanium coil of wire I made basically, and I would just cut these off as rings, and I was trying to make a snap action similar to like a button like on a jean jacket or something. Canadian, so it has to be a jean jacket. It'd be basically like a captive ring, and then when the button piece goes into it, the ring expands, then snaps around the ring. That worked okay, but no matter however tight I capped it, the pen would, it just never felt nice. It always kind of felt gritty. So this actually feels pretty nice, and it sounds nice here. Zing. Zing. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. I did a bunch of variants. I did these in titanium, I did these in brass, I did this in titanium, I did this in brass, and I found the best combo so far is making this part out of brass or bronze or whatever you want, and making this part, the tip, out of titanium. Speaking more of that, let's zoom. So you can see the tip geometry has wildly changed now. It's nice and smooth because CNC, why not? And this part actually unscrews, which is a super nice fit on this, like snaps in. It's pretty nice, if I can say so myself. I might be biased, but that was a bit of a bear of a part, but I'm very happy that this is turning out because this gives us all kinds of options. All sorts of different options for the flux pens. So that's what I'm working on right now. Lathe news. So basically last video I uploaded, I was having difficulty figuring out how this clutch mechanism works because it looked like it pulled on a pulley, like two belts, and the pulley moved up and down. I couldn't figure out how it worked. Somebody, your name here, actually said that they're probably expanding pulleys, kind of like a torque converter system. And you're exactly right. They basically just one expands, one contracts, and that's how you make up the belt change difference. So what it is just a mechanical speed changer. The motor would just continuously spin. One or two clutches would engage to engage the high or low speed. And then this whole pulley arrangement would vary the spindle speed in those ranges. So you could go from very, very slow to very, very fast, depending on how you mechanically actuated everything. And it's all computer controlled, so it's a mechanical speed changer. so complicated because nowadays I'm just gonna use a VFD or like a vector drive to control the motor speed directly and basically lock out all this in one fixed position because we can do that nowadays. But back in the 70s, you couldn't do that so easy. So that's that. The motor, both the main drive motor and the coolant motor, the oil motor, are 600 volt 3-phase units. I don't have 600 volt 3-phase power. I have single phase 240 volt basically coming into my house. So even if I pump that through like a VFD, I can get 3-phase 240, which is still nowhere close to running this motor. It's a 575 volt motor, which is basically 600 volts just derated. They do that anyways. So it's a 600 volt motor if you want to think of it that way. The winding, I'm hoping, I've already opened this plate to see if I can rewire it. I can't, the wires lead right into the coils. If the coils are in series, I should be able to rewire them into parallel, and that would drop it down from 600 to roughly half, which will give it a chance to run on 240 volts. It'll draw more power and it won't be in its efficiency band, but it'll spin and it should work. If I can't rewire it, I just got to replace the motor. They're not horribly expensive, but they're just heavy, so shipping them gets tedious. And the oil pump motor is just so well sealed in its like gasketed thing there. I would really like to get that one running. It's only like a 10th horse motor. So if I can get that one running, that would be ideal. I'll also run that one off a VFD because just VFDs are so cheap nowadays. It doesn't make sense to try to mess with it in any other way. So honestly, once we get those spinning, that's probably more of the hard part because putting like servos or steppers on the axes is just a matter of mechanically bolting them on. And then we have the task of going through the millions of air solenoids and oil hydraulic solenoids and getting those all clicking and working. But once again, it's just step after step. So that's something I'm also working on, but I also have to build something because things like that cost money. And yeah, I have to generate income somehow. I can't just play all day as much as I want to. I also have this giant amount of wasted space in the corner here. 2 reasons for that. One, it gives me room to open this panel while I'm working on the lathe without being super squished back there. Gives me a little bit of room. This lathe, although it does technically have a bar pusher, it's missing a lot of the parts, and I would have to fabricate a bunch of them to get it to work. So I think initially once we get this running, we'll function as a bar puller, and that'll let me just stick out longer bars on this side. I might have to put some supports there, but anyways, it would function as a bar puller. My parts are small, so even a bar puller would be massively, massively helpful in automating some of the processes. And yeah, I'm so excited to get this thing running. I want to get it running, but like I said, I have to baby steps. The reason I left all the space open is these things are air hogs. From what I've been reading, they suck a ton of air, and I have a very small compressor. So this space is basically built for having a much larger compressor in here. I'd love to get like a rotary screw. That's not in the cards right now. Even the cheap ones are very expensive. So honestly, what I would probably do is if this compressor can't keep up, I will either buy a bigger piston compressor, which is kind of annoying, or I'll buy a bunch of air tanks because that's kind of a nice stopgap, whereas it'll at least let the compressor have kind of a more on-off duty. So I don't know. I'm just experimenting with ideas. That's why the space is open. I actually ran 220 back there as well, so I can get a better compressor in there and draw less current. Yay! And before I let you go, one thing I'll show you that I think is pretty cool. So I love when people make stuff that is cool and well made. Pick it out of my pocket. And this is an example of that. So this is, these are titanium tweezers, and they're made by a company called, made by a guy called, on Instagram, he's Split141. His website, I think, is Triaxis. I'll link it in the comments below. He has a Kickstarter right now for these tweezers. I was able to snag a pair before the Kickstarter launched, but these are full titanium. Another guy in his garage just making cool projects, or a cool product. He has like a whole Haas VF2 in his garage and stuff, just insane. Big CNC lathe and stuff. Anyways, yeah. Very reasonably priced, super cool, all titanium. The color pattern on this is insane. It's something I'm definitely putting into the pens, which is why we're making these parts out of titanium, because I love playing with titanium. It's such a fun metal, and the finish options are amazing. So yeah, I put a little lanyard on this so I can keep it in my pocket. I get a lot of slivers. I like supporting people that do cool stuff. So yeah, if you're looking for titanium tweezers, if for nothing more than to tell people you have titanium tweezers, I highly suggest his Kickstarter. He's doing cool stuff. So that's where I'm gonna leave you with leave you with. That's where I'm going to leave you this week. I have this pen to finish. When I finish one, I mean, I'm going to finish like probably a bunch, just because that's the magic of CNC work. And especially on this pen, I'm actually putting a lot more work into just letting the machines do majority of the work. Usually I cheat a little bit. I'm like, oh, I'll just put a chamfer on this manually after the fact. But it ends up biting you in the end, because then you're like, okay, now I got 20 to build and I have to manually do that on every single one. So putting the legwork in up front is annoying because it slows everything down. But down the road, it just lets you run. So that's what I'm working on. End of the month, a goal for that one, to get it finished. I don't know if I'm for sale at then. Depends how my testing works over the next week here. But I'm pleased with the results I'm getting thus far. And we will see you guys shortly. Now that I'm not moving stuff and setting up things, I have more time to shoot video. So hopefully I will see you next week. That's my goal. I like this. I like talking, even if I'm just talking to me. I like journaling this. This is enjoyable for me, and this is what I really enjoy doing. So I'm gonna do more of it. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy doing it, whatever you do. Bye. Have a merry day, night, morning, Friday, weekend, whatever you do. See you later. Bye.